tocato e mai pololo alema. Lolo ababudo mui, tocato e mai pololo alema. E budo mulo, lolo ababudo mui. E budo mulo, lolo ababudo mui, tocato e mai pololo alema.
Hey, Cairo. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time of day it is when you hear this message, I pray that your mind, your heart, your body, your spirit are all poised to receive, accept, and respond to words of wisdom. Ashe. Listen, let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you got a dance ensemble with 10 people. 2 people have never danced before. 2 of them have danced before, but they've never danced the style that you're doing in this group. 2 of them are, not sure if they really want to dance in this particular group. 2 of them know they want to dance in the group, but they can't get along with the director or half of the other people in the dance group. And then you got 2 people who really are thinking about creating a dance group and a dance company that will last for another 100 years. Well, you can imagine trying to get all 10 of those people on the same page to, focus on creating the highest quality dance in the world. That could be really, really, really challenging. And I describe that scenario because I think in many ways it syncs up with my assessment of what's happening in Orisa lifestyle today. Now, this is the Orisa Lifestyle Academy, and I'm your instructor, Obafemi Origuwa. And today I want to share a lesson on spiritual integrity. And when I say spiritual integrity, I'm talking about us being a whole body, us as a spiritual community really being complete, having all of our parts working together. If we use the analogy of the dance ensemble, in order for that ensemble to have real integrity, for it to be whole and everyone to be optimized and playing their part fully, well, you got some things that you got to overcome. The people who've never danced before have got to be brought up to speed. The ones who can dance but really can't get along with anybody have got to learn how to get along. The ones who've danced before but have never danced this particular style have got to get this style together. The ones who are in the group but got their mind in another group have got to be brought in so that they can be, focused on where we are and what we're doing right now and not dreaming about going somewhere else. And all of that is happening in the midst of a competition, right? So we add that variable. This is not only a dance company, but hey, you're in a tournament. You're in a tournament and you're trying to win. Okay. We within the Orisa community we're so many different types. There's so much diversity even within the traditions. There's so much diversity within the Nigerian tradition, so much diversity within the Benin tradition, so much diversity in Brazil and Cuba. There's a lot of variety that's going on. And then when you start bringing all the different traditions together, it seems like there are more differences than anything else. And typically you see a lot of arguing and bickering and, quarreling back and forth with one another along those same lines. We seem to have an infinite amount of things to quarrel with one another about. And I think there's not enough focus on what the real objective is. I can say it another way. To me, we would rather lose as long as we get to play. That seems to be the consensus. We don't mind being second-rate citizens as long as we get to wear our ileke and have our pots and claim our titles. We don't mind being subjugated anywhere in the world and having to operate in fear and anxiety that the mainstream is going to somehow come down on us. We don't mind that as long as we get to have our little toys and parade ourselves around as something important. That is the way I look at it today. The problems that we're facing as a collective are real enough for us to be able to respond to them, but we're willing to ignore those problems so long as we get to do our little thing. Okay? Now, I don't mean this as a condemnation of our people or our tradition, and I'm not trying to wag my finger and preach at anybody. What I'm really interested in doing is helping us to be the best that we can be. And with that in mind, I want to share what I think is the driving force. What's it going to take to turn this thing around? What's it going to take to activate all the members of our society in the most positive and progressive way? For me, it comes down to one thing. One thing. We need to provide one thing for everybody, and that is a particular kind of an experience. We need to focus on creating a certain kind of an experience. Okay, because experiences create values, and then values drive behavior, and then behavior creates more experiences, right? And it becomes a virtuous cycle. One thing feeds the other. Okay, so what do I mean when I say experiences create values? Well, it's when you do something. Let's say you plan to go you're going to go to the supermarket, and you go to the supermarket hungry. You don't have a list, right? And then you come back from the supermarket with Twinkies and Doritos and Tootsie Rolls and soda and a bunch of snack foods, right? Well, that experience is what teaches you the value of making a list before you go to the market. That experience teaches you the value of eating before you go to the market, right? Without the experience, it's hard for you to understand why that's so important. And so when you get tempted to go to the supermarket on an empty stomach and no list, you'll remember the experience and say, wait, let me take a little extra time and put this in place, because I've already been down this road and I know that it ends up with me spending $200 and not having food in 2 days. All right. So experience drives value. Value drives behavior. Behavior then creates experiences, and so on, and it just continues. So what I want to focus on are certain kinds of experiences, and I want to divide those experiences into two, because I think this is what's really going to make the difference. On the one hand, we have experiences that the priests and the priestesses need to have. The priests and the priestesses really need experiences that challenge us to do our best. We need to be in an environment where it's okay for us to get tested. It's okay for us to get challenged. It's okay for our work and our performance to be evaluated by one another in a way that's constructive. We need to be able to enjoy exchanging ideas with one another. It needs to be pleasant, even though it's challenging, even though it's forcing us out of our comfort zone. It's got to be something that is enjoyable for us. We come out of it feeling like, wow, that was really good for me. I am a better priest. I am a better priestess as a result of this experience. If you're a priest or a priestess, you're probably thinking, man, that would be so phenomenal. I would love to be able to, get access to these kinds of experiences on a regular basis. It would be so good for me to be open and free about stepping up my game and bumping shoulders with other people who are committed to the same thing. On the other end of the spectrum, we've got to create certain kinds of experiences for the devotees, and the clients. By devotees, I mean people who are not, they may or may not be initiated, but they don't serve the public in that capacity, right? They really are in the tradition for their own well-being. They have their own shrines at home, and they venerate them and go to their priest or priestess when it's necessary, right? And then there are clients who are, are not initiated to anything, don't have any shrines. They have problems, and they come and they get them solved. Those folks really need their own special kinds of experiences too. They need experiences wherein when they interact with the priests and the priestesses, it's the product is of a certain quality. The communication is of a certain quality. The rituals and the ceremonies are done with a certain level of professionalism. These are the kinds of things that the clients and the devotees need in order to have the kind of trust in the tradition, and particularly to have the kind of trust in the priest and the priestesses that will drive loyalty, makes people, really feel more relaxed and at ease, and overall promotes more stability. If you think about it, what it was like for you to be a client and what it was like for you to be a devotee, you will probably remember, hey, you know what? It would have been really phenomenal for me to know what to expect. It would have been just great if somebody was able to just communicate with me and articulate to me, this is where you are, this is what you can expect, this is what we're going to do next. Like, that would have been such a huge help to me in the beginning of my practice. And definitely, if I had remained a client or a devotee, I can still say that over time, excuse me, it would be, I can imagine it being fantastic to have that experience for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. I'd love to do it. Okay. So I think these kinds of experiences overall, for priests and priestesses, for clients and devotees, these are the kinds of experiences that we need to stabilize our environment. Within the School of Orisa Studies and the Orisa Lifestyle Academy, those are the kinds of experiences we aspire to create for all of our students, some of whom are initiated priests and priestesses, some of whom are devotees, some of whom are clients, right? Overall, the objective is to create the kind of an experience that promotes stability, the kinds of experience that helps us to create more value for stability, the kinds of experience that enables us to increase our level of trust and let our guard down and relax and be open and be free and progress in a way that's natural to who we are and why we are in the world today. If this sounds like the kinds of experiences that you need, the kinds of values that you want to cultivate, the kind of behaviors that you want to be involved in, I invite you to join us in the Orisa Lifestyle Academy or in the School of Orisa Studies so that we can start living the medicine that will heal your life and heal the lives of those who you are destined to serve. Bye for now.